It's something new to expand your mind, exercise, and journal. And I'd been doing that, and it was very transformative, and things that happened.
Because it allowed momentum, positive momentum.
Right.
Yeah.
And I gained so much from it. I was thinking, I'm never going to stop doing this.
We would change the name of it.
Okay.
Because calling it a miracle makes it look like you're overcoming something, like it's miraculous, when it's not miraculous to be in alignment.
Okay.
It might seem like it, but we wouldn't keep emphasizing that point.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see that. What should I call it?
We would call it my connection to who I naturally am. Connection to who I naturally am. Or deliberate empowerment morning. Or normal empowerment.
Okay. Like a daily ritual.
Daily, not ritual, because ritual is something you do when you don't mean it.
Okay.
Daily deliberate choices.
Okay, I like that. Daily
For-
deliberate choices.
We're going to make this title so long, it'll take your whole morning just to call it.
That's fine, as long as I stay in alignment. I don't mind.
Really good.
But then for the last few months, I've stopped doing that. Even though in the morning, or before I go to bed, I said, I'm going to do this in the morning. And I just want to sleep in the morning. And it's bizarre because I already know what the payoff is, and I'm resistant to it, but I don't know why. Am I overthinking it? Should I just do it? Or I know I should just do it, but why am I not doing it?
No, that's a
Okay.
ritual. That's doing it when you don't mean it. So we don't think you should ever do anything for that reason. But think about what the power of the momentum is. So you see, the benefit of getting hold of something that feels good is that there will be some momentum in it that will call you to the next thing that feels good, and the next thing that feels good, and the next thing that feels good. But if you've assigned to yourself a list of things you must do, then you're just doing them without any mindfulness about whether you have any real momentum going. And so then it doesn't yield to you what you want it to, because if it really was the payoff or the payout that you were really wanting, you wouldn't have stopped doing it. Here's what it is. The payoff has to be right now in the now, not a future payoff. I breathe deeply because it feels good to breathe deeply, not because tomorrow I will benefit by having breathed deeply. You see what we're getting at? Let it please you in your now. So we'll just ask you some simple questions. You're going to like this. In your now, when you've just awakened, would you rather be confused or clear-minded?
Clear-minded.
And so just lie in that understanding of how much you like clarity. And then think about what clarity feels like. Think about the power of clarity. Think about how good you feel when you're clear. Think about how productive you feel, or about how efficient you are, or about what good timing you have, or about what good balance you have. And then bask in that feeling of clarity. And then the momentum of it will take you into a little stronger thought about what clarity really is. Well, it's the infusion of me with my source energy. It's me opening to all that I am. And then feel that. So you're not doing it to affect something that's going to come later. You're feeling the benefit of the momentum right here and now. See what we're getting at?
Yeah, that feels really good.
So then, once you get into that momentum, then you might feel like a shower, you might feel like a walk, which is just going to enhance that all the more. You're not doing it in a ritualistic way. The momentum that you have accomplished has connected you quickly to the broader perspective that you have, and now you're being called to all that you are, and now you are in your empowerment. Empowerment morning might be a really good label for that. Esther asked us, Abraham, can you give us a list of processes, a list of things that we should do? And in the should, there's such a sort of backlash, because doing anything because you should do it puts you back in that being broken like a horse or domesticated conversation. You want to feel the inspiration toward what you do. And if it's not an inspiration that you are personally feeling, then you're in bondage because someone else is assigning it to you and someone else is keeping track of it, so to speak. Can you feel the difference in this? Think about the word sincere. Sincere. Let's go deep into the understanding of when you say sincerity, what we mean is in harmony with the very depths of who you are. I sincerely mean this. I'm with the full meaning of who I am. I'm not doing it to accomplish something. I'm doing it because in this powerful now, it feels the very best to me. And you'll get hooked on that. You'll get hooked not on the results, but on the connection. You see, if you're doing anything for the results, you might miss the connection. But if you're hooked on the connection, which means you're hooked on the feeling, the power, the clarity, the enlivenment, then there won't be anything that will distract you from that.
So when I read things like if you want to be or have, I guess I shouldn't be so results driven, but if you wanted to live an extraordinary life like Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson, they all have these rituals in the morning. I mean, kind of like our friend earlier who did the whole alignment thing in the morning.
But the thing that's most interesting about you trying to compare what anybody else is doing is that you don't really know. They're in a position where they stand at the culmination of so much that they have done, and there's no possible way that they could explain to you what they were doing along the way. They might be explaining to you what they now like to do, but let your inner being guide you. And we're not saying that you might come across some of those same, but there's a big difference in reading something and taking some action to affect some emotion, and discovering the vibration that promotes an emotion and holding it until the momentum becomes more. Let your own inspiration come to you, not someone else's. It's nice to have role models. We think it's wonderful when people are succeeding and you're watching them and they're teaching through the clarity of their example. That is a wonderful thing. But you have within you guidance that is there and so personal with each and every thought that you think. Every thought that you think, you have an emotional response to it that lets you know the vibrancy of it and the value of it and the benefit of it in the moment, you see.